What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. It's lunch hour, and we are here hanging out together. Can't wait today. Man, Corey, Jeffrey, Jody, you're the best. You guys are here every day. Love it, love it, love it. Love hanging out with you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about Albany today, what it has to offer, why it's a good thing we're going to Albany, maybe. We're going to look at some of the WFP or World Fitness Project locations as well. And then we're going to do a little bit TV talk at the end of the show. Wednesdays, I'm going to reserve for like my TV talk, I think. Trying to come up with like a pattern, a cadence of the week. Like yesterday's top 5, Tuesday went great. I really enjoyed that. What's up, Kenneth? Corey jumping on with me, talking about who we'd like to have a drink with. I actually got a couple comments. One of the comments was, we forgot Kelsey Keel. And I have to agree. Kelsey Keel would be amazing to have in a drink with. When her and Colleen Foch were going after the bobsled, I was so infatuated with that story. I had both of them on a couple times talking about that. I thought that was super cool. And she's just a really awesome person to talk to. And I believe that Kelsey actually moved and is living in Columbus, Ohio. And if not yet, soon. But I don't have that definitive yet. So maybe that is something that potentially could really happen. I'd love someday to have like guests actually down here in the pod center and hook it up and do some live shows. Maybe we'll do that for the Masters CrossFit Games. That would be really fun here in Columbus. Although I do live about 10 miles north of the convention center, so it's not like an easy drive, but we're here in the same town, so maybe we can make that work out. If you haven't seen the Hattie Canyo video interview from Monday night, that was awesome. It's gotten a lot of views already. Really my first interview back. It was a great one to have. She was great to talk to, super open and honest about how the games went for her as a rookie. When you have a dream and you get there and this tragedy happens, what happens to your dream? How do you pivot? How do you get through that? We talk a lot about that. We talk about her days as a wildfire fighter and kind of how she went through that and what they must be going through in California. So we had that. Make sure you check that out. And then Sunday Night CrossFit Talk, I'm going to put a reel out later today from that show because Carolyn brought up a really good point about maybe for the online portion of the qualification to the games, we keep the 3 open scores and add them to however many workouts you get for the online semifinal or in affiliate semifinal, and maybe combine those into one. I'm going to make a reel, put that out today, get your thoughts on that. So yeah, make sure to check that out on my Instagram later today, or go back to Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. I think Holly actually chaptered that up, so you can go right to that topic in that episode. So yeah, super excited to be with you guys today. Denise, good to see you. And I cannot imagine, it must be so scary in SoCal. Those fires look awful and so much devastation. And I experienced them once in Florida when I lived there. We had some wildfires in the Panhandle. Yeah. I don't want to ever be there again. And Judy Reed says, hello. All right. We got the whole gang here. Yeah, Jay Birch is talking about the box jumps that Carolyn did online the other day. I'm going to see if I can pull those up really quick. If you did not see it, when I talk to Carolyn a lot, like we talk about how CrossFit doesn't always test athleticism, and that it should be something that you test whenever you're doing a competition that doesn't seem to be put in every time. So this is something she was trying. So we'll go ahead and show that. Blow this up. A reverse burpee box jump. And her and I started talking the other night, like who in CrossFit could do these? And I think that there's a lot of men that could probably do this. Noah, Alex Smith for sure. A lot of those like very gymnastic type male athletes, but I could not. Jeff J. Birch calling them ninja box jumps. Yeah, that's probably more appropriate than the reverse burpee box jump. But yeah, ninja box jumps. We were trying to think of women that could probably do this. And we came up with a list of maybe Paige Semenza, maybe Danny Spiegel, and maybe Danielle Brandon, because they have that like athleticism where they played a lot of sports younger. But Paige and Danielle have had back injuries, and I'm not sure this is the easiest thing after a back injury. So Corey says, I can tell you who can't. That is me. And Denise says, I think I'd break my back. Yeah. It was so cool. When I was in high school, like we all tried to do that, like kip up. Ooh, that's a good one. Judy Reed, Rebecca Fuselier. Yeah, she could probably do that. Yeah. I would give her the nod for sure. She's very athletic, very gymnasty. Yeah. Maybe even an Ariel Lowen, maybe. I don't know. But when I was in high school, this was like something as a football team we all tried to do. We wanted to be able to get up off the ground that way. So Alexis Johnson, even though she's retired, sure, I would give her the nod. She probably could. She's so low to the ground anyway. She doesn't even have to kip up very far. Ariel has cheerleading gymnastics, so sure. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. Carolyn has gotten some videos of people doing it. So there are people out there. Most of them are not names that we recognize, but are sending her videos of them doing these. So maybe it'll catch on. Maybe it'll go a little viral and we'll get some more. Denise Moore says, I'm going to try it on Friday. If you do, make sure you video it. We want to see. If we don't see it, didn't happen. Just kidding. And Judy, yeah, Rebecca F is a level 10 gymnast. Yeah, when you said that immediately, I thought, yeah, she could probably do it. So I would go with Rebecca for sure. Yeah, all for the gram, Denise. All for the gram. So cool. Well, that was a fun video that Carolyn put out. And maybe she'll get more videos by Sunday night, and we'll talk about it and maybe share some of the other videos of athletes who have done it. Maybe some of the bigger names will send her one as well and tag her in it. So maybe we'll talk about that Sunday night on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. So yeah, super pumped about that. So yesterday, right before we went live on this show, it was announced that Albany, New York is the home of the 2025 CrossFit Games. We played the hype video that CrossFit put out and let you all see the official announcement. I've done a little bit of digging into what Albany is, where it is. And so I'm going to share a couple things with you. I did an image search. If you want to see, like, it seems very much like a mix of old and new. You have like typical buildings like this, And then you have like buildings like this that are very old, very intricate architecture. These you see a lot of that building, whatever it is. I think that is where the Capitol is, that where this like half dome or partial dome is started. They have a river that runs through the town, and there you see kind of the skyline. So, and again, I think this half, whatever this is, I think is where the Capitol resides. And you can see the skyline along the river there. There's a kind of a nighttime view. But yeah, so that's Albany. It's very much, it looks like a mixture of old and new. But that's kind of where we're heading. I will tell you, last night I booked an Airbnb, trying to get in as quickly as possible. I got a 3-bedroom Airbnb apartment for about $1,400 for Wednesday through Monday. So I didn't think that was too bad. In Madison, that would probably be over $2,000 for sure. With the pricing in Madison was just through the roof. So yeah. And I guess that's the Hudson River. We're on the Hudson River in Albany. So when you see the pictures of the river, that is the Hudson River that flows all the way into New York City. So I'm going to stop sharing that one. And then I'm going to share this. Now, this is the downtown Albany area. And this is the census information. You can kind of see this downtown area of Albany. The population of that area is 101,000. It's 21.4 square miles. And but if you look at the metro area, which we're going to look at that data as well, it's all of these little like suburbs around here: Voorheesville, New Scotland, Sand Lake, Troy, Latham, Cohoes. All of those are actually part of the metropolitan area, which has way more population than the 101,000. So for the downtown area, this is about half as big as Madison, and much smaller than Fort Worth. When we look at the metropolitan area, it's actually bigger than Madison. And so when you look at that census data, the metropolitan area that includes all those areas we talked about is 904,000. The metropolitan area of the metro, Corey, man, you're messing up my groove, making me think Friday the 13th. The metropolitan area of Madison is about 650,000. So the metropolitan area of Albany is 904,000, which is a little bit bigger than Madison. So while the downtown area is smaller, the actual metro area is bigger and much more populated. And I think what that has done is made the airport a little bit better. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. So I'm going to share some info from the airport. Sure, I will. There we go. So here is some information from the airport. It has 2 runways. That does not give me a lot of hope. One north-south, one crosswind runway. Average daily commercial flight arrivals 53 and departures 53. But here is the list of commercial airlines available at the Albany International Airport: Allegiant, American, Delta, JetBlue, Southwest, and United. So they have all the big hitters, as well as Southwest and JetBlue and Allegiant for some cheaper options. So that's not too bad for a smaller airport to at least have those options. I know my friend Amanda Hari, who was looking from Northern California to Albany, and there are direct flights, and she got one for like for $400, $450, somewhere in there. So not too bad. That seems to be better than the pricing that you could get into Madison. When we were going to Madison, a lot of people would fly to Chicago and rent a car and drive up because it was cheaper than flying directly into Madison. So this seems to have a lot more options and a lot more direct flights than Madison did. So, JetBlue, the Dollar Tree of the sky. I have never flown JetBlue ever in my life. I've flown Spirit, hated it. I've flown Southwest. Meh. I am a name brand Delta. I love Delta. Delta and United. Those are the two I like to fly. And American if I have to. Judy asks, would you drive? Sorry if you already said. I had to step away. I have not said. I drove to Madison. I looked at this. It's actually more miles from here to Albany than it was to Madison, but I don't have to go through Chicago. So the time is almost identical. So I would drive. Having my car there with me with all that equipment is such an advantage that if I can pull it off, I would definitely drive if I could. I drove to Birmingham last year. I've driven to all the Tennessee locations. So yeah, anytime I can drive, I will. Dude, Southwest is badass. Delta's poop. I have not tried Southwest since they've changed their boarding. I hate the cattle call. Hate the cattle call so much. I want my seat reserved and I just walk to it and get in it. When's the best time to buy the flight coming? I am not an expert in when to buy tickets. I've heard like Tuesday night late, Wednesday night late is sometimes good. But yeah, I just keep checking. Denise says United is good. JetBlue is better than Spirit. Yeah, Spirit, like they suck you in with this cheap price, and then you have to pay for everything. And when you're taking as much equipment as I am, like cameras and computers and extension cords and all that kind of stuff, I have to carry on. I have to check bags. And man, when they start upping the check bag fees, it's just ridiculous. Jody Lynn, I'm a 2-hour drive from Albany. That is awesome. That's going to be fun. You better be there, Jody. You better be there. Denise drove to Tempe in December. It's so good to have your own car, but parking at the venue every day gotten expensive. You know, so a lot of times I'll drive, and then when I go to the venue, I just Uber. It's cheaper than paying for parking. Or I catch a ride with somebody. But then I have my car in the evenings to go do stuff if I need to, like just get food or go to the grocery store or anything like that. Denise, we park street every day. Yeah. I know when I went with Jamie 2 years ago, we were in the parking garage and it was pretty steep. But that was nice. I got to ride with them in every day. So there's that. So that is the airport. And then the last thing I'm going to show for Albany is MVP Arena, which is where the games will be held. And this is a picture of the layout for monster trucks. I thought it was the best view that would tell you what the games would be like because it's the floor open and not with a court or a concert or anything like that. One thing that is not as nice as Fort Worth is it's back to the small jumbotron up here. If you can, my pointer is not showing on this, but okay. A very small jumbotron. The arena actually holds more people than either Fort Worth or Madison. But it looks fairly new. Depending on where you look on the outside, it looks newer than in some different angles. My biggest beef with Madison was always that place was old and it was not really geared for sports. It was some of the seats were broken. It wasn't the most comfortable place to sit. Fort Worth was awesome. That arena was top notch, state of the art. Seats were comfortable. Super nice. Yeah. Jose V. Yeah, the Jumbotron size sucks. Yeah, in Fort Worth, it was a massive Jumbotron, and it had inner TVs and outer TVs. So if you were directly under it, you could look up into the inner part of it. It was massive. This is back to like the Alliant Energy Center in Madison with a much smaller Jumbotron. Might even be smaller than one in Madison. But the arena actually holds about 1,000 more people than Fort Worth did. And that was like a few thousand more than the Alliant Energy Center. So this is actually getting bigger, not smaller, by going to Albany. What is the comparison between the floor space in Albany versus the other two? That I did not see. By looking at it, I would say that the floor space is bigger than Alliant, smaller than Fort Worth. Fort Worth was built to be able to host the big rodeos. And because of that, the floor looked really, really big. And the one end was very open where that's where they went out and ran laps, which made that very nice to be able to run instead of like shuttle. And that was a fun event to watch because of that. But I'll do some more research and find out like floor size between the three. But Fort Worth was way bigger than the Alliant Energy Center. This one looks to be about in between, but we can find out. And sometimes this bottom row of seats that you see covered here, sometimes you can fold those up and make the floor bigger. Sometimes you can't. So I don't know if they have the ability to do that in this case. Corey says, bring your own Jumbotron. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Jose V might be the media pit. True. The media pit in Fort Worth was very, very small. And then they gave media the first 2 rows on the side to sit in, and you could get shots from those areas. So hopefully there's something similar to that in Albany for the media as well. But that's pretty much Albany in a nutshell. Like I said, I got an Airbnb last night, reserved it for about $1,400, 3-bedroom, kitchenette, living room space, 2 bathrooms, I think. But yeah, so really, really excited about that I was able to get that at a much cheaper price than I could get in Madison for sure. Jay Birch says from Texas, $400 to $500 on round trip from Houston to Albany. Yeah. And yesterday, Bruce Wayne got a quote at $450 from Miami to Albany. I know Amanda Hari on her channel last night was talking about Albany, and she got a flight in the $450 range. So it looks like that seems to be the going rate for a round trip flight to Albany. Yeah, I got lucky. Someone gave me their seats last day to take some good shots. Yeah, they were great shots. I was front row. I got a ton of shots. I have a ton still need editing, but I've been busy with other things. So there. So that's Albany. If you have any questions, shoot them to me. I'll see what I can find out and let you guys know in the next few days. But that's what I found out about Albany. So I'm going to break up the CrossFit talk with just my little TV talk and TV rant for the week. And then we'll get back into the WFP locations, which are very different. I looked at the venues for the WFP Tour events, very different concept than what we've seen in CrossFit. And I'll show you some pictures of that, and it'll give you a quick idea as to what that is. So, season finale of Landman happened this week. I've been talking about it for weeks. Jody and I are arguing about whether a character is a wuss or not, and but beyond that, the season finale did not disappoint. But the one thing I do want to say is, you have a character, you have an actress like Demi Moore in this thing who's had about 7 lines the entire season. Finally, she gets some breakout. Then we have a new character brought in. Last 7 minutes of the damn season, and it's a legendary actor coming in to play this role that turns next season on its head. If there is a next season, they have not been officially renewed, but I did see where they're getting 15 million views a week. And just to give you perspective, a good network TV show gets about 3 to 4. Jody says the kid needs some muscle. Am I right? I mean, he is a little skinny. I will give you that. But Jeff says muscle don't make you a badass. He's wiry. Been fighting this Ohio dry air for so long. He's not easy on the ice. He's not easy on the ice because he gets the shit kicked out of him almost every week. So I get what you're saying. But I'm so super excited. And the end of the episode ends with a stare down with Billy Bob Thornton and a coyote. And I've seen some interviews to kind of figure out what that means and what perspective is that. Is Billy Bob the coyote, or is he the hunter? And Billy Bob thinks that he's the coyote, and it's him looking in the mirror. Doesn't give anything away, Jay Birch, but so there you go. I'm not giving anything away, Jay Birch. There's way more to the story than that. High Potential is another one of my favorite shows. Watched it last night. That show just gets better and better every time out. It does look like they're reducing the cast to just the essentials, which will be interesting. I think that it's streamlining the characters and making it where they can develop those a little bit better than others. And then I said a couple weeks ago that I was a lover of The Diplomat season 1, and season 2 I wasn't a big fan of. I've gotten a little bit further, and season 2 is worth the watch. What I will say is season 1 ends with an explosive event where you don't know who's going to live and who's going to die. And the chaos that ensues after that for the beginning of season 2 is really hard to follow. You have to be super attentive to follow the storyline for the first couple episodes. Once you get past that and you download all that information, the season 2 then picks up and is better in season 2. And I knew I couldn't remember the girl's name a couple weeks ago when I mentioned this, and it's Carrie Russell. Carrie Russell plays the diplomat. The whole premise of the show is she has been a diplomat to other areas of the world, less refined than the UK, like Kabul, like Afghanistan, like Iraq. And they are picking her to possibly be the next vice president. And they want to see if she can be zhuzhed up by making her the ambassador to the UK. But when she gets there, all hell breaks loose. And she has to like jump into action in more than just a formal kind of way. And she actually has to get her hands dirty. And so the whole process of making her a vice president kind of takes a back seat. And in season 2, it's finally resurfaced again. Like we have to find out if she's the right pick or not. So it's another good show to watch. And I have started Sons of Anarchy, Jay Birch. So I'm plowing through that as fast as I can when I have the time. But that has me addicted now too. So thanks for that. Now let's back to some CrossFit talk with the WFP. They announced yesterday on Instagram their full season schedule. I know people have been clamoring for that. And so on Instagram, they posted this. If you are a signed pro athlete, all you have to attend is Tour 1, Tour 2, and the World Fitness Finals. If you are a challenger trying to get into those competitions and earn a pro card, you have to do the online qualifiers. The first one will be March 19th to the 25th. Registration is from January 29th to the March 25th. And then if you make it in to the top 10 or you make it into the challenger competition at the event, then that happens Tour 1, Grand Park Sports Campus in Indianapolis, Indiana. So what I'm going to show you is Grand Park Sports Complex in Indiana because it is very different than anything that I've seen in the CrossFit space. So this was a video. It must have stopped because I've been on it too long. So I'm going to refresh it and see if we'll get her started again. There we go. So it does have some indoor facilities, as you can see here, but the majority of the park is all outdoors, as you'll start seeing here. There are a ton of outdoor soccer fields. There are a ton of basketball courts. They're multi-sport complex, as you can kind of see with this drone flyover. So my question now with the WFP is, are these tour events going to be inside or outside? This will be in August in Indianapolis, or no, I'm sorry, May in Indianapolis. This is actually where the Indianapolis Colts hold training camp as well. So they have outdoor football fields and indoor football fields, so they can do things indoor or outdoor. So that leads to a very big question, whether the WFP is going to use these outdoor fields to do their events, or are they going to use the indoor fields? If you look at the campus map, you'll see they have a 400-acre campus, 31 sports fields, 26 diamonds, 3 indoor facilities, and this is the campus here, with a lot of multi-purpose stuff in this area over here to the left, and then to the right are the baseball diamonds, and then up here in the front are the indoor facilities, where they have 3 different event centers. And what makes this interesting is then the second tour event which the Instagram post has as August 29th through the 31st, is going to be held at the Atlanta Athletic Grounds. And what it looks like is very similar to the Indianapolis location. Lots of outdoor multi-purpose fields, but they do also have some indoor fields as well. 41 pickleball courts. Can you believe that? Beach volleyball. There's the indoor facilities. 16 indoor basketball courts, 50 volleyball courts, performance centers. So you can see they can hold just about anything. Even dance. So, but it makes, now the questions are, now that we've seen these locations, are we going to get indoor or outdoor events? And they did have a map too, and I don't remember how I got to it, but I did. Grounds maps. Let's try that. There we go. So here you can see they have a festival field over here, like a big field. They have these 3 big indoor facilities right here in the middle. They have all these multi-purpose fields down here on the bottom. So it's going to be interesting. What is the WFP going to use, the indoor or the outdoor stuff? Arizona in August. That is correct. Late August. It's okay, Jay Birch. It's a dry heat. Yeah. I don't know. It actually gives them some flexibility. They could do some inside, some outside. Judy Reed says Indianapolis has some really nice suburbs. Even the high schools have incredible sports facilities. Indianapolis is great. It's an easy drive too from here. So I think I'm going to plan on going to the first tour event to check it out, see what they're doing over there, get a firsthand look as to what's going on and kind of how these things are going to be laid out. And it'll give us an idea going forward for sure. But yeah, so that is some of the new information out from the WFP. And then, of course, they finish up the season with the finals in Denmark, I believe. So I'll go ahead and share that one last time. So Arizona is August 29th to the 31st, just to verify that, Jay Birch. And then the World Fitness Finals at the Bella Center are December 18th through the 21st, and that is in Copenhagen, Denmark. So, I don't know. Let me see if I can find Bella Center while I'm sitting here with you guys. And I will share that. Let's see if it looks like the other two. The Bella Center, Copenhagen. It's asking me questions in a language I don't understand. I think it's something about cookies. We'll try that one. There we go. So welcome to Copenhagen. Trying to find, everything is in another language. So they have different halls. inside auditoriums. That was not what they used. Okay. So it looks like the Bella Center is definitely inside. It would definitely be one of these inside halls. As they don't see, it doesn't appear they have anything outdoors in Copenhagen. So people have asked this, and I think that the deal is that, hey, we're giving you money, and with that money, you can use it to pay for your travel. You're guaranteed this money, and it takes away all that, offsets all the cost for the athlete for their season. That's my guess. My goal is to get a couple athletes who have signed in the next couple weeks on the show, and maybe get some more details as to what those contracts look like. So that's what I'm hoping to do in the next couple weeks. So look out for those. But yeah, but it doesn't look like the Copenhagen Bella Center has any outside fields or places to go. So yeah. But anything, I would just be guessing at this point anyway. So there you go. So we looked at Albany, New York, where we're going for the CrossFit Games. We looked at the World Fitness Project and what they're doing in Indianapolis, Arizona, and Copenhagen to see what it looks like. So now we know a little bit more than we did at the beginning of the day. And we talked a little bit of TV, but it's about lunchtime over. So you know what that means. Time to get back to work, you hooligans. Talk to you next time. Bye, guys.